covering the islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Hope your Sunday went well. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Thanks so much for making us a part of your evening. It's July 1st, and that means that a new fiscal year begins. Today, the country's leader reassured the public that big plans are in store. But he says to remember that the government inherited an economy with significant challenges. In an exclusive interview with ZNS News, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie said his administration has to be fiscally responsible and prudent, which means they ought to not overexceed. However, despite this, the government is pumping the necessary resources in areas which desperately need attention.
We were elected to implement a program that must challenge crime and the fear of crime, a program that must challenge the economy and the joblessness, and 34% unemployment amongst young people, and therefore people must have hope. And we're trying to move as quickly as we can. In fact, I am driving the ministry responsible for investments, the Office of Prime Minister, to review all of the investment proposals that have started or that have been dropped, and to bring them back with a view to saying what we could push forward. And I'm now really optimistic. Given my first 8 weeks in office, I'm optimistic that we are going to be able to cause some things to happen. We are going to be able to create some jobs. We are going to be able to restore confidence to our economy and confidence in the economy. And even though we are challenged by what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the United States of America, we have every reason to be optimistic, and that we're going to find the path to, on a sort of incremental basis, to be able to improve our country, improve our people's way of life and the quality of life they lead.
The Prime Minister's comments came at an installation luncheon for new officers of the Progressive Young Liberals, the party's youth arm. During that event, he highlighted the important role they play in assisting the government. Mr. Christie reminded the group that they should always keep abreast of what's happening in the country, government, and the party, saying they play a critical role in the success of Urban Renewal 2.0.
The young liberals must reach people of their age group, and by definition, they are to recognize that there is a lot of pain in the country, a lot of pain in communities and homes in communities, and they must find out what is causing the pain. Joblessness, how that impacts families, children who simply do not have the time to focus on homeworks. They need mentoring programs, young men and young women who need the power of a second chance, the opportunity to catch themselves and start all over again. And so they can be so relevant to the Progressive Liberal Party by ensuring that the organization continues to be in communities, reaching out to communities, and throughout the Bahamas.
Heeding the call was incoming Progressive Young Liberal Chairman Desante Banabi. She, along with her executive team, were installed this afternoon. She assures government that all hands are on deck and they're ready to assist.
We're introducing programs that go hand in hand with those, as for example through the Urban Renewal program and through the different Urban Renewal established through the different constituencies and communities. We are implementing different tutoring programs and different seminars and workshops on conflict resolution. That's exactly what the government is doing. So it's important that the youth supports what the government is doing and also implement programs that will impact every Bahamian, young and old. And so we definitely are doing that in every area.
We'll have a full report for you on that event in tomorrow's newscast. Well, crossing over from politics to news from the police, authorities are still hunting for 17-year-old Michael DeFriend. He's a teenager that escaped police custody at the Princess Margaret Hospital around 3:30 Thursday morning. Authorities confirmed to ZNS News that DeFriend is a suspect in the murder of a 22-year-old man reportedly stabbed to death in Union Village last week Monday. Now, police believe it was injuries the teenager sustained in an altercation with the deceased, which led to his hospitalization. Assistant Police Commissioner responsible for the uniform branches, Leon Bethel, leads the investigation into this incident and spoke exclusively with ZNS News this afternoon on the latest details.
Directly at the manner in which this suspect was secured at the Princess Margaret Hospital and how, what are the circumstances causing him not to be in custody at this time. I'm looking at all of the officers who were concerned with his security, and once I'm finished with my investigation, I'll make certain recommendations to the Commissioner of Police, because if you are in charge of an individual, you are totally responsible for everything that happens to him. If anything goes wrong, someone must be accountable.
ACP Bethel continues to urge residents to assist police with any information needed on the wanted teenager.
We are constables and they're still on duty, but we're looking at other persons who might have been responsible for their supervision, not just them. So we're trying to find out anyone who would have contributed to this man not being in custody at this time.
And you're following any significant leads into his capture?
We have not located him as yet. We're still asking the members of the public to assist with information, because he needs to be back in custody. He needs to answer some questions concerning the matter that we held him for. And then, of course, the Beeman people need to be informed as to what came out of the case.
And in more news from the police this Sunday, authorities are investigating a traffic accident that has left a 19-year-old female dead. The incident, according to police, reportedly occurred around 11:30 last night. Preliminary reports indicate that a 1999 Honda Odyssey van occupied by two people was traveling east along Marshall Road when the driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle and collided into a utility pole, which resulted in the van overturned. Now, the driver was unharmed during the incident. However, police say the front seat passenger received serious injuries and succumbed at the scene. An active police investigation into that matter continues. Meanwhile, in keeping with the Commissioner of Police's 2012 policing plan tackling crime and allaying the fear of crime, Central Division officers held Operation Zero last night. The operation was held between 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday afternoon until 4 o'clock Saturday morning. 4 men were arrested as a result, and 9 men were also arrested. We can tell you that they were arrested for possession of dangerous drugs, and 5 males were for armed robbery. The men in age and range between 15 and 34 years old. An active police investigation continues. Well, it's time now for our first break, and there's a couple here in New Providence celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary. Stay tuned. That story when the Weekend Edition continues.